Jaden, you wanted to talk about men's mental health, like
Yeah.
that topic specifically. Can I know why that was such a passionate topic?
Yeah, so for me, just being on social media all the time, and just I'm a male. I live a life of the man, like an average man, and I know what I deal with, and I know what every guy around me deals
Exactly.
with, and we have to kind of hide the burden of staying strong and
Not showing emotions too
not
much.
exactly not showing emotions, and just if something's affecting us a certain way, we can't really express it like the way we want to. And it's crazy because as like a man, I feel like when you go ahead and approach a situation, like you have a problem or you feel some sort of way about something, you always end up being the problem. You know what I mean? So I can go ahead and like, for instance, if I have a girlfriend, not my specific situation, but some people, could be in a conflicting argument with their girlfriend, and next thing you know, you're listening to your girlfriend as a man should. You hear her out. You're sitting there trying to fix the problem, and then you yourself have all these issues, and you just, all right, I'm done. I have to express this to you. Look, this is how I feel, and then you turn into the problem because now it's your issue, and a lot of people just don't know how to figure that out.
It's like taking care of the other problems and taking care of other people's problems because as a man, that's just kind of what you do. And then you forget or you kind of bury this burden
Exactly.
of yours, the problems.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
then, it gets bigger and bigger. And then eventually it leads to, mental problems and stuff, which the social media doesn't help either. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like the era that we live in now with social media, with people posting type of content like, oh, look what I have in my life.
Yep, it's
Oh,
always
you don't. And
everybody's
where are you
competing.
at 21? And yeah,
Everybody's competing,
right.
comparing, and it's not a race. And I actually heard a quote the other day. Is something like, you're not better than me. You just made it before me.
Yeah, it's like everybody has their time, and
God has a
time.
plan for everybody. God's timeline for everybody is completely different from mine to yours, and then everybody else in this room. So it's just not my time, but God knows my time. It's just all about the timeline.
What do you think
Amen.
What do you think that problem stems from? Like
Explain. What do you mean?
the whole idea of just men not wanting to express their emotions or go out there and find like-minded people to speak to them and say, hey, yo, I'm actually going through this, I need help.
I think it's just the generic life of a man. You have to be the breadwinner. You have to provide. You have to give a lot more than you can take. And as a man, you just grow up that way. It's not that somebody told you that, and I'm not saying anything negative towards anybody else.
Don't you think that's how it should be?
I think that's how I grew up. That's how I grew up. My dad takes care of us. Obviously my mom's in the picture. She works. I love my parents, but my dad's the one who's headstrong. If there's an issue, I call my dad.
Yeah.
If my tire pops, I call my dad. If somebody passes away and something, obviously I'm gonna go to both of my parents, but my dad's gonna be like the rock, like the firm, like if I need to cry, like he'll suck it up and let me cry and not get emotional. Like he'll be strong for me. So I think as the man, you just have a bigger set of pants to fill, dude. It's as simple as that. And I think we could all agree in some way, shape, or form. And I think it's hard for men to express the way they truly feel. And it's just I wish that men being vulnerable was more accepted, instead of this guy's a little bitch, or this he can't maintain a positive attitude because he deals with things, but we all deal with things. And there's just always a counter argument because of a guy and the way he feels. And men's mental health to me should be top of the charts, because it's a fact that more men each year commit suicide to themselves. There's more issues, ongoing issues.
Yeah.
And
Dude, and it's going up a lot.
Those issues can lead to, problems within you and your family's lives. Like next thing you know, there's a divorce in the family. Next thing you know, the kids that you chose to have, they didn't choose the life that they live. They're growing up because you made the decision to have them. So I think men's mental health, in order for everything to go as smooth as possible in your lifetime, you have to just be strong, but find somebody that you can be vulnerable with, which would be your partner, your parents, anybody, a friend. You have to be able to have a vulnerable side and let that out in order for, you know.
I definitely want to touch up on that because you being in a relationship and stuff. But before we do that, I think another thing is also just what some influencers or people in general preach on social media with, man, like, yo, you have a problem, fix that. Like, you should be the one that takes care of everything. But yeah, this is kind of whatever you said. Don't you think that's how it should be? Yeah, but then, you know, everybody's a little different. And how you do things in your life at that moment, where if your, you know, spouse is helping you financially, one might look at that as if now you're a nobody because your spouse is helping you, or your girlfriend, you're in a relationship. But then one might look at it, hey, this is healthy. We're here for each other, right? We're helping each other because we love each other. And that is where the understanding, in my opinion, diverges. And that's kind of where people go the route where people like Andrew Tate and all those guys preach and say, yo, you have to be an alpha male. Like, this is your responsibility. This is you.
Crazy too.
It drives people, but then it also gets them on this path that is just like, yo, now I have all this responsibility and I shouldn't ask for help.
Exactly.
I shouldn't.
Yep.
It's not that you don't want to. You just shouldn't. And it's a weird
And that
dynamic.
ties into the point that I think I made on the first podcast, where I was like, you are who you hang out with. You are who you surround yourself with. I was so big on that in the first podcast, and it's the truth. You literally are who you hang out with. When you find your significant other, the person you hang out with, you want to spend every day with for the rest of your life, the highs, the lows, it doesn't matter what they provide. It's the fact that you have enough courage and love and just astonishment, essentially, for that person. So, like you just said, it's very important. Essential. It's very important. It's very essential to, you know, not only find the rock, but to have just a group of people or just somebody that, you know, you can go to and be with and get vulnerable with. And it ties back into the beginning of everything.
I think the issue is also with what the new generation does now with their life. You know what I mean? They party, they drink, they smoke. And I think a lot of people really need God for them to, like, get away with this type of things, because
and find peace, true peace.
Yeah, you tell them, like, look, this things don't make sense because it doesn't fulfill your life or whatever, right? But it's not as strong. But when you put God in there, then it gives it a strong purpose of why you should stop doing it. And I think that's where everything comes from, honestly, because your lifestyle and what you do throughout your day is just gonna define if you're gonna be depressed or not. This people, they work all day and everything, but then for their recovery is going and drinking, and that's bringing, like, that's like pressing down the depression. They think it's a relief, but the next day they feel worse.
Yeah, literally.
So I think it's what they do too.
I think when I think about mental health, I don't even think it's like, because I feel like men nowadays are more emotional than anything else. They just don't know how to control it. I think it's a mindset issue. They just don't have the right mindset. They don't know how to really take care of these problems, because problems are going to be for the rest of your life. Like, that's just what life is. You can't escape it. You can't escape responsibility. That's just, responsibility is what gives life meaning, right? So you can't really run away from it. Either. Exactly. So it's like you got to learn how to, like, tend to your own garden, right? Which is like your mind, like planting those seeds, getting rid of the seeds, getting rid of the plants that are just like messing it up in your garden, whatever it is. And it has to do with, like, your mindset and your attitude towards life. Because, I mean, I remember, like, when I was suffering, like in myself, I had, like, really bad mental health. It really just came down to a perspective. I didn't have perspective. I didn't really have the right mindset, not the right attitude. I didn't have, like, an open mind to a lot of things. So it just came down to, like, me just not having the right attitude. I think it is. It's because I feel like the world and social media, I guess, and society had, like, puts its own mindset on us. It's like, oh, you're a victim. Oh, like, you're this. Like, it's like telling us, like, who we should be, right? And I really do kind of vibe with, like, people who, like, with Andrew Tate and stuff like that, like, their mindset about, like, you're a man, like, you're gonna have problems, you're gonna have X, Y, Z. It's like,
they tell you straight up how it is before you get there.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of the times that you need to hear the things that you don't want to hear. It's like a friend. You know, your best friend, when you have a best friend, you have to tell them the things that they don't want to hear, but they need to hear. And at the end of the day, if you guys are, you know, glued and, you know, rock together, then there will be no issue. They'll look at you and be like, wow,
And that's
like
tough
this
love.
man really just cares about me and wants to see me succeed, and exactly like you just said, tough love.